formed against me shall prosper. Oh, it won't work.
No weapon
formed against me. Give me that ad-lib again.
No weapon.
One more time.
No weapon.
One more time.
No weapon.
Who the fuck y'all hoes?
Okay, the facts are back, bitch.
Who the fuck y'all hoes think it was, bitch, or what time of day it was? Okay.
You gotta understand that this is a community-based project. We're not getting any funding from the government. I seen bitches out there talking about, wait till Trump hears about this. Trump can suck my dick.
I gotta wait till Tuesday, okay. Oh my God. I just need to keep hearing that right there. Hey, you are awesomely awesome. And you're the best. You're the best blessed. Just hell. I can't even sound even know what to say.
Had a vision for 20 in the morning, thinking of my little sister said morning. Struggling with realities, no maladies, holidays ain't the same, everything's changed. No Bowie, no Prince, and no Michael, no Andre Crouch and the Disciples, no Walter, Edwin or Deborah Goldie, no Whitney, no George Michael. Toys R Us gone bankrupt. Damn, they could toss it and went bankrupt. Everything from my childhood's missing, man. Man, I swear it's such a fucked up feeling, man. I'm not mad, it's a simple observation. And I'm not sad, but it's not a celebration. I'm just trying to put the pieces back together, man. Everything's falling through my fingers like sand. It seems a tighter that I'm gripping. It seems more that I am slipping. I feel like I lost everything I love. And where's this alleged agape love? In churches ain't the same. Gospel music just ain't the same. R&B it just ain't the same. But y'all keep telling me it's the same. But I ain't feeling nothing, damn it. And I don't wanna reach up and grab it. Shots fired, get to ducking. Always knew they were up to something. This ain't no future when you're frontin'. And y'all know you still have it, fool. I'm not a baby, bro, I'm grown. Don't leave me standing out here alone. That's why I wrote this song, because I know I'm not alone. What are we out here doing? What are we out here saying? People don't care no more, so fuck it, I don't care no more. This is too much for you to handle. I was always too much to handle. There ain't nothing new about me. You don't want authenticity. You don't want sincerity. 2020 brought me clarity. Now I see who you really are. No mask wearing, mailbox record, racist motherfucker. Let's go. Homie, you don't really want it. Sis, you don't really want it. I'm your nightmare opponent. Walking in a new anointing. Walking past all your bullets. Nothing in your trigger bullet. Try and pull it again. team. Took a bullet for the dream that we would one day all be free. Free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity. I die for freedom to be free. I died and left a legacy. Oh, but baby, I still live through technology. After the sun, comes the rain. And after the storm, the sun will start shining. Like tears of pain, and tears of pain, and tears of pain, and a dash of struggle. Just be patient. Your destiny will manifest. Yes, falls in the sea.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, y'all? It is your dude BubzDaGawd here with yet another live for you all starting off this weekend. I hope that you all, despite waking up every damn day and not knowing what the hell is going to happen in these United streets. I'm about to say straits, girl. We're talking about the queer shit today. But the United States of America. Okay? Y'all gonna have to forgive me this live. I was not planning to do it today, but a part of me was like, go ahead and get it over with. At least I'll have something that I've put out for the weekend. This is not going to be a very long live. I always say that, but we see what happens. I do have some work that is going to be accomplished later on tonight, okay? So I'm not going to be on here for too long. But I kind of want to come through and finish up this quote-unquote debate between Mason and Amir Odom, okay? And for those of you who want more insight on Amir Odom, especially from like the outside blind spot perspective, you might want to go ahead and check out my latest video essay about Amir Odom. Okay, make sure y'all go ahead and check that out. Make sure y'all hype that. Use your hype points if you have any. If you want some to spare or you have some to spare, go ahead and share it on that video so that we can get that video up in the algorithms. All right. Yes, before we get into the live, let me go ahead and do the right thing, okay? No shade, which is what we do over here on BubzDaGawd. The right thing, no shade. It might be difficult sometimes, but we still do it. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All the videos, songs, images, and graphics used in this live belong to their respective owners, and BubzDaGawd does not claim any right over them. So, as y'all already know, as we're going to be listening to the finale of this debate between Mason and Amir Odom on the Ellen Fischer podcast, shout out to them. I'm going to be playing the Division 2 while I'm listening to this because I've already heard this, and no shade, Amir, Ellen, or anybody else in the damn room, we're not offering up any sort of like good solidifying points. They weren't adding any sort of like objective solutions that is actually humane and beneficiary to, or beneficial, shall I say, for the parties involved, because I believe it's possible for everybody, in a sense, to have some level of satisfaction. Now, just because some people say that they don't believe it because they've never seen it does not mean that it cannot happen. It's a lot of shit that happens in this reality that we've never seen before, or at least believe we've never seen before. Okay? No shade. We got Faith is the substance in the building. What's going on, Queen? I hope all is well with you. And yes, baby, I ain't gonna be here too long. Like I said in the beginning, I got some things I gotta work on. So I'm excited about that. Make sure y'all go over to Faith is the Substance. I had the honor and the privilege to be graced with her presence on her platform. Whenever I'm being interviewed by somebody else, I ain't gonna hold you, I'm always nervous with new things because I care about it and I want it to go right. But she made it a very safe space for me. Funny, great sense of humor. I love it. How she put me on the spot, that was funny. I like that. The whole acting challenge, like, it was just dope to have a good connection with somebody else, especially somebody that I just recently met. So make sure y'all go over to Faith is the Substance and subscribe to them. Also, make sure to be on the lookout for on their interviews, because baby, I'm not saying who it is, girl, but you might want to tune in, baby, because I'm telling you, I'm just excited to see a lot of content creators on the up and up, like rising, ascending, and we need to be about community. In this world today where things are crazy, there's more division than ever. For those of us that are focusing on humanity, which means we love ourselves first, I can't show up in this world in a loving way if I don't love myself. If I don't know what that love for self feels like, I will never be as great as I possibly can. So the fact that we were over there and just affirming each other and just having someone else speak life over me and affirm certain things in my life. The universe works in mysterious ways. God, source, universe, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, works in mysterious ways. And I'm glad that the mysterious ways has led me over to Faith, because, baby, Miss Faith is manifesting her screen name, baby. Faith is the substance. She is definitely walking in that. And no shade, girl. I don't know all the tea, but whatever foolishness that these people are playing with on your damn name, understand that you have greatness inside of you. As long as you know who you are, it doesn't matter what anybody else says about you, what they believe about you. Let them believe, let them think. Unless they can prove and verify, they ain't got nothing to say. So make sure y'all check out Faith is the Substance. And I'll definitely be hitting you up later on tonight, boo. No shade. We got DJ The Truth TV in the building. What's going on, pimpin'? Glad to see you here as well. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all share. Share this in spaces where there is opposition. There is no growth in echo chambers. There's affirmation in echo chambers. There's reinforcement in echo chambers. But even in echo chambers, we have to make sure we're doing our due deal. So we have to learn to educate ourselves. We need different people around who think differently than us, have the same common goal in reference to healing humanity, but can think of it in different ways. I remember on the House of Dragons, even though I didn't finish it, which is true, in order to slay a dragon, you can't just hit it head on, baby. You got to hit it from multiple different angles. If going forward is not working solely, if going from the left or the right ain't working solely, if trying to hit day 6 is not working solely, then baby, we need to act like the dragon is Queen Latifah and set it off. She getting hit with Glocks in the front, shotguns in the back, girl, semi-automatic from the left, bitch, and a grenade on the right. It needs to be all of that. Okay? But before we get into this, I kind of want to give an update on something, because again, this conversation is around the trans experience and Queen Faith. I would love to hear your thoughts as well on this perspective, because I'm really trying to be as balanced as possible in my commentary. I am not a woman, nor am I a female. I am a cisgendered male who is attracted to men. And I say not other males, but men, because there are some trans men that my mind might open things up. I like, again, as much as we believe that everything is black and white, it's really gray as fuck. No shade, is gray as fuck. But since we're talking about the whole trans experience and Amir bringing up 3 talking points or concerns, well, really 2, but really we're going to say 3, in concerns to what his issue is, or what the people he represents, what their issues are, and using him as a voice piece, what that is. The first one is no medical transitioning of youth, which we've already discussed. Okay? And trans people should not be allowed into bathrooms, nor should they be allowed to play in sports. Right? So those are the 3 things that I hear a lot of Amir and those who are middle to right leaning state about the trans experience. Let's continue to talk about the trans experience real quick, because some new developments, unfortunately, have manifested. And again, if you want to read along with me, the content that's used in this live is in the description box below, so you can see it for yourself. No shade. I'm doing my job. I need for people to do theirs. That's all I'm saying. But If you go ahead and click on the link down there, we're going to read something from Fox News from their sources, girl. Because ain't they connected? Fox News, fixed news. Isn't that what the news is about? It's fixed. So let's go ahead and take a look, okay, at fixed news and what they believe in reference to trans people. This just in, y'all. Kansas, well, not just in, but kind of still just in. Kansas law invalidates trans driver's licenses and birth certificates. The measure, which also limits access to bathrooms, reportedly offers no grace period for ID updates. Okay, so if I mess up some words while I'm reading, charge it to my head, not my heart. The article is there. You can read it with your non-stuttering asses, okay? Kansas has officially invalidated driver's licenses and birth certificates for trans residents who changed their sex designation on government documents under a law that took effect Thursday. Roughly 1,700 individuals in Kansas, okay, 1,700, will be required to obtain a new standard driver's license at a cost of $26, according to the House substitute for Senate Bill 244. The state's vehicle division informed residents that no grace period will be offered for those who need to update their IDs, according to the Kansas City Star. Quote, "Please note that the legislature did not include a grace period for updating credentials. That means that once the law is officially enacted, your current credentials will be invalid immediately, okay? And you may be subject to additional penalties if you're operating a vehicle without a valid credential," the Kansas Department of Revenue's Vehicle Division said. The law also establishes clear rules for shared private spaces in government buildings, restricting their use to a single sex. This applies to facilities such as restrooms, locker rooms, changing rooms, and shower rooms where individuals may be partially or fully undressed. You hear that? Amir and I'm talking about restrooms and locker rooms? Interesting. The bill further reinforced a strict definition of sex and gender as an individual's biological sex, either male or female, at birth. Consequently, individuals or entities who violate the space restrictions may face significant civil penalties or potential criminal charges. Individuals are also given the right, this is the part that kind of gagged me, I'm like, wow, this is what we're talking about here, baby. The trans people weren't lying, girl. The people that y'all demonize as woke, y'all demonize them because they can see the stuff that you're afraid to see, baby, that we see because we lived the experience. Even though I'm not trans, I know what the energy of discrimination feels like. This is the part that gagged me. Individuals are also given the right to take legal action if someone of the opposite biological sex violates their privacy in these spaces. So when we look at the debate between Amir and Mason on the Fischer, I'm about to say, what's that one girl, Amy Fischer, the Ellen Fischer podcast, girl, that, oh, well, if somebody of the trans experience was in the bathroom with me or in the locker room with me, I would, because I am the weaker sex, I feel like my privacy is being violated and that I'm in danger. But trans people have been using the bathroom amongst you this entire time and nothing transpired. But anyway, this gives them the right to take legal action against those who violate their privacies. Okay, so again, now it's going to be looking at what's in your pants. Can I see your ID? Then Democratic Governor Laura Kelly, whose veto of the bill was ultimately overridden by the Republican-led Kansas legislature February 18th, had previously called it a poorly drafted bill with significant, far-reaching consequences. Quote, "It is nothing short of ridiculous that the legislature is forcing the entire state, every city and town, every school district, every public university to spend taxpayer money on a manufactured problem," she said. Kansans elected them to focus on education, job creation, housing, and grocery costs, right? Now, under the bill, entering a multiple occupancy space designated for the opposite sex constitutes a violation. After a first warning, a second offense could result in a $1,000 civil penalty, and a third or subsequent violation is treated as a Class B misdemeanor. Anyone who believes their privacy has been violated in such a setting may bring a civil lawsuit against the violator and seek $1,000 in liquidated damages, according to the bill. So you already got people who are struggling to make ends meet. You already got people who can't pay for groceries, pay for essentials, pay for housing, pay to live. And now that the trans people have been used again as a scapegoat on why the economy, why the world, why society is the way that it is, now there is an incentive for these individuals to say, hey, this person in the bathroom violated me. And because they're trans, because now what they're doing is that they're making it easier for them to discriminate, because all they have to say is, show me your ID. So that is their way for them to demonize queer people, to say, see, I told you the trans people. That is their sick, twisted, manufactured way to justify to society why they chose trans people as the scapegoat, or to use that as a shield to quote unquote hide, even though it's a piss poor ass way, their discrimination and plain bigotness. Because this is past transphobia now. This is being bigoted, and they're giving these bigoted people an incentive, the opportunity to bank, to be able to get money, while also holding those weirdos, those freaks, those mentally unstable, mentally insane, need to be thrown in a padded room with a straitjacket as queer people, to get rid of them. But wait, there's more. Government entities such as state agencies or local districts that fail to align with the new regulations are subject to steep fines. Entities face a $25,000 civil penalty for a first violation, and then a $125,000 for each subsequent violation. The law provides specific exceptions for entering spaces designated for the opposite sex, including custodial or maintenance work, medical or emergency aid, law enforcement duties, assisting someone who needs help, or children under 9 accompanied by a caregiver. And the gag is, for all these exceptions, I wonder what would happen if the people who were part of these exceptions were of the trans experience. But before we get into the rest of this debate, or finishing up that, I kind of wanted to read that so that you guys have an understanding of what we're dealing with here. That when you actually are objective and you pay attention to what the scary shit that these people are saying, and you sit within that fear, because again, that fear is information. I keep telling people that, and that's one thing I'm learning in my own life. Fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. America is already in a fear-induced state, and they're looking for someone to blame. And as we can objectively see, there is obviously a party that is wrong. Even though both parties is wrong in my opinion, at this specific time in this specific reality that we're experiencing collectively together, there is one party that is objectively, explicitly in the wrong here. Absolutely. And then you wonder why people like me and Hope Giselle and others who are advocates for human rights, including Black lives, including queer lives, continue to have to do these lives and share the information. This is why it gets scary for queer people. That's why queer people are speaking up in the way that they're speaking up. Because as we've seen with part 1 and part 2 of this debate, the fears that Amir, that Mrs. Fischer, and that those that support them have about the queer community, Mason came through to, first of all, acknowledge those fears, understand where those fears originate and come from. Also acknowledges the perspective and the lived realities of queer people, you know, the individuals that y'all have the problem with, because you got to talk to them and live and see what's going on amongst them in order for you to have an objective perspective, correct? And then says, hey, instead of arguing back and forth and back, like we're the LIYAH in this mug, then let's find the gray area of compromise. And whenever Mason offered the invitation to the gray area and the 50 plus shades within it, Amir did not show up to meet in the middle. Because if Amir was to meet Mason publicly, meet these people publicly in the middle, he would have to face intense critique from those who support him. And my ninja, heavy is the head that wears the crown. You say that you appreciate your supporters, you appreciate the individuals that stand with you and stand behind you and stand united with you. And they've made sure to compensate you on the back end for you to have an incentive to continue to not be in the middle, but to be in the right. Because as much as you claim to be middle right, you're not really accessing the middle aspect of things. You're still holding on to the right perspective of it. When I mean right, I don't mean right as far as right and wrong. I mean right as far as left and right as far as this political arena. So let me shut the hell up and let's go ahead with the debate between Amir and Mason on the Ellen Fischer podcast. Again, if you want to watch it without my critique, you can definitely go ahead and click that description box below and you will be able to find the link. Anyway, let's get it.
So like we have already crafted society in a way that we think is going to be better for us in the long run because we are adaptable creatures that develop things unnaturally. Societies were not just sprung up naturally, it's because of human ingenuity. And so the idea of like sports is like, well, you can obviously beat the hell out of this person that's sitting next to you, or like I'd always love like the alpha males. I'm sure you might agree with this too, with the red content, who's like, if you can't beat up a person with a gun for your woman, you're not a real man. Like, dude, are you serious? You don't think my gun can like stop that person instead of like me fighting? Like, for me, the naturalistic arguments are just, it's really silly. And I think it's this like primal instinct of like trying to go back to like caveman times.
So if you think that naturalistic arguments are silly, do you think having men's and women's sports separate is silly?
I think that we should devise sports in a way that's the most fair and inspires competitiveness.
But is it silly to you?
I think you think it's silly too, because you don't agree with how we've set up sports. Like, you don't think that we should have trans women in women's sports. You think that's an unfair advantage, and so we should change it.
Well, I think your best argument is giving these extreme examples where there's like an exceptional sports player. Take Otani in baseball, right? Blowing everyone out of the water in his statistics. That is a pretty good comparison when you compare it to like a trans woman in female sports. But also on the flip side, I think it's important to realize that we're only concerned about trans women in women's sports. We're not at all concerned about a trans man in men's sports. And because that speaks to the reality of the situation.
I think a lot of times too, it's
But what is the difference? Because again, there is this idea in y'all head where there's this conflation. And I'm gonna keep stating it and I'm gonna keep repeating it so that people understand that. And again, y'all gonna hear the click clacking because I have to play the game or do something. I could not sit and watch this and talk to y'all, baby. That's why I'm not on camera, girl, because the facial reactions that I would give, the live would be longer. So this is, in a sense, helping me with my commentary to give me something to focus on so I ain't got to go all the way in like I know that I can. But again, we understand that trans people, they know what their biology is or their sex is. They understand that. They realize that. But how they show up in reality is completely fucking different. And we're asking you to explain the objective harm that is happening from trans women. But they believe that, again, that men and women and male and female is the same thing. When we understand that man and woman is a social construct, because they just use the example of, hey, there are alpha males who be saying that if you cannot sit up here and turn into Neo from the damn Matrix, if you cannot sit up here and turn into John Wick, if you cannot sit up here and become an action superstar like Arnold Schwarzenegger and whoop a nigga ass who has a gun pulled on you, then you're not a real man. That you have to die in order for you to prove that you are a real man. With no shade, if a gun being pulled on both of us, I would want a partner that if we gonna whoop a nigga ass, we gonna whoop a nigga ass. We gonna be the ones that's gonna stump this individual out. If I get popped, you better make sure you hit this nigga in the neck or something. You ain't finna be the damsel in distress. Because as much as we sit up here and talk about how women and females are weak, they are the one. Females are the ones that are bringing us into this world. Males would never be able to survive what it is that females have to go through in reference to their biology. There are cisgendered men right now who have put on all these type of electromagnetic stuff to be able to emulate what it's like to have a cramp. And I'm pretty sure that's like the entry level of it. It's not even probably the full experience. So to say that females are weak, they are not weak. They may be, according to y'all, weak physically. But if that is the case, then why are women, especially black women, out here doing the damn thing? What's going on, T for T? Look at y'all comments real quick. Deshaun says the critique is never mind. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't. What's going on? What's going on? What's that? What's going on? Let me see. What's happening? But you know what, Faith? I don't want you to do a little bit more spicy than Bubs. Like when it's his turn. What is it? His turn on you? You know what I mean? Ask question like, would you try something new, girl? What is going on? Are you trying to get Faith to join us? Because Faith, Deshaun is our king, is our head shorty in charge, but he also the head hornball in charge, and he already trying to get me and T for T and CTV, all these T and V's to do some sort of extracurricular activities with each other. And I don't know if Deshaun is just getting greedy and he wants you to join in, Faith. He's saying you are the substance. Well, come bring some more of the substance, because apparently the substance is not enough for Deshaun. Lord have mercy. We have someone in the chat. What's going on, My Health Journey? How are you? I hope everything is well. Good to see you in the building. But again, it's just I feel like Amir and him are not understanding it, because again, like, we understand that you believe that male and man and female and woman is the same, because that's how we've been indoctrinated to believe that. But not everybody is going to fit that mold, and you have people right now who struggle every damn day to even stay in the mold because of how limiting it is. Anyway, let me shut the hell up and let's get back into the rest of the video.
So this is where we get into really interesting feminist ideology, which is the preservation of the patriarchy and the aspiration to be a man. So neither of us are the archetype of like incredible masculine men. I don't think anyone would say that. I think the red pill would look at us and call us, you know,
I don't know.
femboys.
I look at you both and I think, and my producer, I think men are amazing. And I think, yeah, in any situation, I'd be so glad to have you guys there to protect me if there was some evil I was trying to
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's why he said around the men. We ain't talking about the women. The weaker sex. Oh, we're so weak. Help us. Oh my God, we can't do nothing. We need a man to save us all the time. We're just gonna be sitting like Cinderella, sitting in the dark, cold, dusty cellar, waiting for somebody to come and set me free. Come and set me. That's cool with you, but what Amir was stating with, what Mason was saying with Amir is that if we were around other alpha men, they would look at us and see us. So if we're gonna play that game, you're a woman, you're a female, you're out of this situation. Okay, you came in to try to save it. But let's continue.
More like Andrew Tate would look at us as like scrawny men. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not scrawny. But I'm
well, you're short.
You're a homo. What?
Shorter man. And again, I'm not saying any of this. Just
you're a shorter man. Come on, shout out to the short people. Shout out to the short people, because I am one of those people. So shout out to you for that. Okay. But continue what happened.
Say anything bad.
I'm not. Your beard is making me feel
I know.
like, you're pretty
Like,
strong.
I don't know. You're not.
I'm getting the vibe that you're a strong
you're not
man
a
right
twink.
now.
Like you have a beard.
I'm an
like,
otter. Okay, I'm an otter. But
like,
anyway, where was I going with this?
Sorry.
We were talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, feminism and like the patriarchy, right? So the reason why we don't focus on trans men, right? So manhood specifically is supposed to be seen as like the dominant force. It is something that you should strive for, and if you are not at like the peak of your manhood, you're failing as a man. Where with women, if a woman is more masculine or a woman's not achieving her womanlyhood, she's seen as more confused, right? That is typically like the idea of like a scrawny man who's doing nothing is seen as a failure. A woman who's trying to like lead a business instead of provide for her family is more seen as like confused or not doing her full role. And a lot of that is like benevolent sexism, which is like we treat women with like kid gloves more often than we do with men. We want to be harsher on men, at least like societally. And so when it comes to trans women are seen as like the most grotesque way that a man can act, because not only are you failing to be a man, but you're denying your manhood and taking on the lesser role, which is being a woman. You are a failure as a man. Your father is probably so embarrassed that you're a trans woman. That's the idea of trans women. Where trans men, of course a woman would want to be a man. She's just confused. She's not doing her womanly desire. But of course women would want to be a man, because being a man is about power. Being a man is about competitive. Being a man is about strength. So I think that's why society specifically demonizes trans women, is because they view it as like a perversion of manhood instead of trans men, because it's like, oh, that's just a silly woman who's going to grow out of that one day. And it's unfortunate she doesn't have big breasts anymore, and that's something that's really a reflection of a sad society as opposed to an immoral society with trans women. And so I think that is really indicative to like larger sexism, which is why I think women's rights and abolishing the patriarchy go hand in hand with protecting trans women and making sure that we're not invalidating people who are going through these experiences.
I think that's
baby, he fucking clocked. Mason, they fucking clocked with that response. This is what context and nuance looks like. And we see the people who are used to the "are you smarter than the fifth grader? Hell no" type of mindset, and then those who made the choice to educate themselves because knowledge is power. And I'm sorry, as an African American whose ancestors were unalived for trying to have a basic understanding of how this system operates, I'm not gonna sit up here, okay, and deny or denounce or turn away from all the things they have done that have gotten people like me and Amir and the rest of my melanated family in the chat to where we are today. And the real conversation that I want to have with y'all, I feel like some of y'all are not ready for that level of conversation because, no shade, we've been so indoctrinated to depend on this system that the system will treat us however it wants to treat us. And it knows it can and it will, and that it will always have loopholes so that when it's quote unquote publicly accountable, it can find another way to get out of it and then get back at you. Because again, this system was never intended for us. It wasn't intended for us to live in, to thrive in, to succeed in. As we can see, it's created like a fucking trap to get you to snuff out as much of your fucking light, as much of the human aspect in you, so that you can fall into line. So that when the system is being attacked, because again, when you got privilege, accountability gonna always feel like an attack. So since they're being attacked, using their words, it has fail-safes put in place like the Amir Odoms, like the Christian Walkers, like so many others who are trying to preserve this system and think that because when you preserve this system is going to allow you into it, that you're going to be with the big dogs, you're going to be a part of the big leagues. No, you are a tool, and there are too many people who are tools. I low-key want, when after Mason speaks to Amir and Amir starts saying, well, that's fair, I can see that, I can understand that, all that other type of stuff, it kind of gives me hope that maybe the gray area, like when I hear that, it's like, yes, let's go down this road, it's the gray area. But again, Amir knows what he has to lose if he were to do that. T says he's going off of religion to form his opinions and judgments. Well, yes, I can believe that because the people that back him are individuals who believe in the traditional evangelical faith. And because I know there are people who are listening who are part of organized religion, I just want to say this. To those of you who are part of the true members of the body of Christ, which means that you are part of humanity, I'm talking about the little pockets and subsects within organized religion that focuses more on the teachings of Christ, of love, of inclusion, of diversity, or die, as I would put it, because that's what he did for our sins, correct? So for those of you who follow that, who says, look, my job is not to judge, but to love, as long as they're not objectively harming themselves or us, they still have to work out their own soul salvation because it is their job. Just like how you are constantly, consistently working out your soul salvation, your soul contract with this experience, it's the same thing for the other entity, for the other spirit, the other divine spark of God, the other entity, if you will. But for those individuals who are still operating in that love space, I am here for you. I create a safe space for you, and we need more people like you to be like, hey, look, I'm not even gonna judge you. I'm not even gonna go to Leviticus on your ass. I'm not even finna go to all these things on your ass. That's between you and God. All I know is that I love you. And I'm going to show you what the hell that love looks like. And show you what that love feels like. But the overall bigger system, the structure that again was used on slaves to help them destroy whatever ounce of resistance, whatever ounce of self-identity, any form of connection to God for them outside of the system, it was put to remove all that. Why do you think, again, when we look at history, with the slave Bible, it was the Bible that the head nigga in charge was reading to other slaves that removed all the empowering information out of it, to completely have it narrated and controlled in such a way to where there is no escape, in that this should be a service and a duty to do this. God has blessed you with air in your lungs and the activity of your limbs and in your right mind and not being on a cold slab. That you should give your life up to Him. But organized religion never introduces you to Him. And because you don't really know Him, when you are going through the dark times of your life, it seems like Him can't hear you. And because Him ain't come by here in 25, 30 years, but yet the trans women that y'all call a Him is having their blessings manifested, oh yeah, I would understand where the hate would come from, the bigotry would come from. But yes, Amir is backed by PragerU, which again we showed the sound bite. I mean the video, the picture, but the actual audio of how his rise to fame, his claim to fame, that in every measure, baby, all that, how it happened. Because I said in my video essay, my ninja, how the hell did you get to this level? How was it that your first video on YouTube was over 1 million views, my ninja? What secret recipe, what secret sauce do you have? Huh? To prove? I'm supposed to be over here playing the game, bitch, and I'm over here paused. How did you get to that point? And now it makes sense. And PragerU is also in relations with Summit Ministries. And both PragerU and Summit Ministries understand that marriage is between a man and a woman. They understand that God only created male and females, and that there are certain roles that men must play in, certain roles that women must play in, and any deviation of that, first of all, in love, deals with rebuke. In love. And once the love has run out, and trust me, there isn't a lot of it, then we're going to get to the shit that's going to make you cry out to God. Then we're going to get to the shit that's going to have you running around the room talking about what must I do to be saved, because we're going to drop your ass off in hell, and we're going to create that hellish landscape for your ass. And then once we get you where we want you, then we're going to unleash you onto the public so that the other Fagates like you, the other transformers like you, the other Yikes like you, the other weird, mentally depraved, mentally insane, mentally unstable, deviant, abusive, carnal, animalistic, feral ass homosexual shit, the gay shit, to let them know that this is what's coming for them if they don't submit. Because in the words of Raiden, Dark Raiden, there are some fates that are far worse than death. We got Queen Steve in the building. What's going on? Let me look at y'all comments real quick. And shout out to y'all engaged in the comments. He wants Faith to ask questions more. Deshaun. Baby, I'm gonna need for you to go to a Substack or go to a Reddit post, baby. Because it's a bunch of people that would love to be able to be involved in your freaking digging shit. But girl, I'm trying to talk about something else. And you over here projecting the gay agenda in the comments. Deshaun says, yeah, they're going off religion and judgment and all of that. The problem is when all this judgment is destroying people that's living their truth, it's ruining lives. As long as people are consenting, what's the deal? What's the problem? They always attack sexuality instead of attacking people that are predators or sex offenders that have a problem. No shade. Again, look at who is the president and his people and his friends. But yet there is no insurrection. There is nobody storming the Capitol. The time to the fact when these are the same people that sat up here and said, well, we're supposed to have our weapons in case there's tyranny inside the government so that we can go ahead and we can rectify the situation and bring it back to the American people. And now you see them doing exactly that. And none of those boys are outside because, well, at least outside doing what they should be doing since they're patriots. They're outside as ICE members. No shade. Queen Stevie, hi Bubs, you sexy leprechaun. What's going on, Queen? Hope all is well. Steve T says everyone doesn't believe in religion, and some people on this earth have never heard of Jesus, and some have multiple gods. He should only use his beliefs for his own morality. That's how it should go. When we look at the founding fathers, when they say, oh, they're Christians, they were Christians. Yeah, you got to do more research, boo. Yeah, they were Christians, but they also understood that this is a country where you have the freedom of religion. Which means that if the neighbor on the left of me believes that there are 20 gods and the one on the right believes that there is no gods at all, as long as they are not objectively harming themselves or harming society objectively, which means, again, got to be proven in the court of law with the evidence provided. What's the problem? What's the issue? But now that this country is led from a religious standpoint that wants to implement religion into every aspect of human life on some the Handmaid's Tale-ish, they don't understand that the founding fathers were speaking about the people who are remixing their words. But again, let's not, have we forgotten what this country would do? I know Davion says that God is the only boss that will fire you and have your ass on the job. Well, I gotta believe that Satan ass is doing the same thing according to the logic, because he's the same person that will unalive your ass and then have the same people who push for him to be unalived to now use it against you to say, well, Martin Luther King said, be calm. Yeah, and we saw how you treated that calm nigga. That black men should be wearing suits. And we saw how you treated that nigga in a suit. Oh, well, that black people should be respectable. But we saw what happened when that nigga was respectable. So whether you're nice, whether you're naughty, this is what's going to happen to you. So yes, if Christian people were able to use that book to guide them, because it's your life, you got to meet the maker of your reality. You came in this world by yourself. You're going to leave by yourself. So make sure that you got 20/20 vision. Make sure that you're building clarity upon yourself. And the only time you offer advice is if somebody asks you for it or says, hey, I've been seeing you doing something a certain type of way. It's been enhancing your life. Girl, what did you do? Then you can share the receipts. Then you can share the fruits of your labor. But also understand that whatever you share, and I have to realize this too, people is going to take what is theirs and leave the rest alone. Shout out to Miss Sarcast for that, who I need to get back in contact with. Dope ass YouTuber, content creator. But again, going back to the video with Amir, Mrs. Fischer, and Mason. Mason was offering solutions. Amir was, let's go back to like how it was, and not understanding that, again, once they're done with the trans people, you think they're going to be like, okay, the gays are cool, we got no problem with them. No, because according to them, being trans is an evolutionary step in faggotdom, in faggotry, girl, in the walk of being a bundle of sticks or a pack of cigarettes, girl. This is one of the levels to this. Because Amir stated in part 1 that because he was feminine and because he liked boys, that he must be a girl then. That's a lack of information because he can only go off of what's been taught to him, not realizing there is more information out there. But then, to his point, if we have more trans visibility, if we have more information, more knowledge about the trans experience, if there is a child that believes the same way that Amir did when they were younger, they now have some signifiers to be like, okay, this is for me, or hey, this isn't for me. I'm just saying. It's that simple. But we see what Amir is doing, girl. If he starts to be objective, baby, that PragerU support, that Summit Ministry support, the support from his conservative fans, girl, I think there is a moral inner conflict within Amir, girl. Because here it is, you've been treated bad by black people. You've been treated, disregarded by the black community. You didn't feel black enough, girl, because you didn't grow up in the struggle with so many of us. Which there are some ignorant niggas who do project. But just like you, I also had my experiences with niggas to where I should be an Amir Odom today. When I wanted to take my life, when I was younger, which I should have got in more on Faith as a Substance podcast because she was asking deep questions. I'm like, okay, let's go there. But I'm going to share it on my platform. Like I said, if you want to know more about my story, I have my docu-series called Wonderfully Made. It gives my backstory about my childhood. Faith is a Substance. If you want more tea on me, girl, you might want to go see that. But when I wanted to take my life during my elementary school years, it was because of the harassment, the hell that I was dealing with, not only from my peers physically, mentally, emotionally, but also spiritually from my church. Like, why don't y'all ever have me on these podcasts? Why don't y'all ever come and debate me on this stuff? See, I be going out and be trying to talk to people. I already went to one fat ass, fupa ass YouTube platform, completely flopped, in reference to debate about queerness. That nigga built like his whole platform beneath the rest of the other niggas, the fupa-lets, to come up there to help him. When it could be David versus Goliath in this mug, girl, as far as the commentary. But he want to put his hands on me, which is what a lot of closeted men want to do. But put his hands on me to again assert his dominance and his physical force because he's built like a sky bison. And just like in the context with the video with trans people, oh my God, well, I'm a female and I'm a weaker sex, baby. If you learn the anatomy of a male, if you learn what pressure points are, if you can learn how to redirect a nigga's momentum and his inertia against him, if you hit it, first of all, since I want to play these holstro games, everybody talking about, oh, you need to grow some nuts. You need some nuts, man. Grow some nuts. Grow a pair. Yeah. Nuts are the most. And T for T, you are a medical professional, so I'm pretty sure you can help me with this. Nuts is a sign of power, but are so sensitive that even if you flick it a little bit, a nigga on the ground. Do we not remember Friday After Next when Damon thought that he was going to sit up there and glaze the fuck out of motherfucking Money Mike and almost had him until Money Mike grabbed them vice grips and viced harder on the nuts to where all Damon could do was just put his hands up, and not in total praise, but in total pain. Baby, information is key. I don't give a fuck how big and strong somebody is, baby. If you don't have information, you are a fool. Or as the scripture reads, baby, the race is not given to the swift, nor is it given to the strong. It is given to those who endureth. And the more information that you have, the more you can endure things. And then not just endure them, you can low-key transmute, no pun intended, shit to work in your favor, which is why, again, Mason can get up here and be cool as a cucumber while Amir is sweating bullets because he thought that he was going to be debating some sort of, oh, them crazy ass, radical ass, trans, I'm gonna clean them up. 42 videos, like I stated, girl, and it seemed like none of y'all want to win no merch from me, so I don't want to hear shit. I'm trying to give away free merch, and ain't nobody doing the damn challenge. So hey, I guess y'all don't want free shit, and y'all black, so I thought y'all would love it. I'm trying to get back. But anyway, 42 videos of you slandering trans women, slandering the trans experience, slandering queer people, slandering queer history. And that's why I'm so glad that everything that I'm doing low-key is like, no shade, in this whole flow state. Because the things that you say, I'm just paying attention to what you say and what you show. And when you went to that Pride event that was labeled as the most craziest, insane event ever in the history of Pride events, bitch, you was able to somehow hack the Democratic National Convention, girl, and GLAAD and all of them to find out what the nastiest, freakiest, most diabolical ass Pride event is at. And case in point, or here's a little moment for you to know where it's at. It's called Epstein Island. But besides that, you infiltrated that thing and you went to the Pride event with your bodyguard who got a free paid day off. Shout out to him. Just for you to say that you enjoyed yourself and you also educated your supporters about it, and we read the most recent comments on your video, and overwhelmingly none of them were stating, oh my God, Amir, I'm so glad that I follow you as a content creator because I had certain perspectives about the queer community, but because I've been watching you, I've learned so much about the queer community to where I also have a respect for them, and now I understand, so I can show up differently because, again, you're bringing forth the rational conversations and rational commentary, right? It wasn't, oh, well, I had this negative thoughts about fur people and the people wearing the dog mags, but hey, because of this, I'm less ignorant now. It's kind of like I have an understanding, even though I may still think it's kind of weird. It's like, okay, it's not as weird as it was because I know what's going on now. It isn't any of that. It was, these people are insane. Children should not be around there. The parents who bring their children should be mentally evaluated. Get your soul right because Jesus Christ coming back. Somebody said that. Just all of that. But when Amir is not on his platform, and now he's on someone else's platform. See, this conversation probably would have been better for Miss Fischer. And if you're listening, no shade, here's a critique for you. If you're going to have a conversation about trans people, then I think it's best that you have trans people on there. Like, why didn't you sit down and have a conversation with a trans woman? Why didn't you have a conversation with a trans man? And if you don't want the ninja ones, they have white ones. So why not sit down with the ones you're comfortable with and have the conversation for them? Like, again, for the people who sit here saying, oh, well, I'm not transphobic, I have a trans friend. Where that bitch at? Where is she at? I got a trans man friend. Where that nigga at? Where are they at? Have them come on the platform. Have them talk. Oh, my Lord. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. T for T says everyone... Oh, you already said that. What else you say? Yes, they are using him and he is using them. Until they don't need him anymore, then he will be a diamond in silk. No shade. We see these people falling from grace every day. I keep telling y'all that. The same PragerU do that once to celebrate Christopher Columbus. No thanks. Yep. Yeah, Deshaun is always fresh. That nigga stay in the shower. Every time I go live, he go in the shower. I don't know what it is, but we ain't gonna judge him because that's his thing. The hypocrisy with him is through the roof. He demands acceptance for his queerness, but wants to strip others of theirs. Thank you, because I think innately inside of him, and I don't think he's brave enough to say it, but that I think a part of him knows that because of the trans shit, it's going to disturb the foundation of what it is that he wanted, which was gay marriage. Because he also understands that once these people get on the roll, it's not going to stop at the T. They're just going to go backwards. Because because this system is narcissistic, and you deal with narcissists who have a narcissist injury, they will not let you get away with that. They will find a way to get you back. So yeah, and I mean, hello, before we read at the beginning of this live, before we read at the beginning of the video, at the beginning of the live, we read that now in Kansas, they are invalidating trans people's licenses immediately. Not, oh, you have 7 days. You have 2 weeks. You have a certain amount of time for you to get your affairs in order. No, that means that when that law came into effect and the trans people that did not know what was happening, that means that if they were pulled over by police or law enforcement or caught in spaces that quote unquote they wanted to be aligned to biological sex now, that you can deal with fines and possibly something more than that. But before that happened, they came through Miss Kim Davis with her damn Timu Kathy Bates from the I'm about to say The Shining. Where's the act for that bitch? The misery and shit. I wouldn't trust nothing that bitch cooks. Only thing that bitch can do is just sign her name on a dotted line so she can get up out of my face. And I can get out of hers. But again, Oberger failed. They attempted. Even though it was overturned, yeah, they don't want her. They gonna want somebody else who actually gonna do it. And then on top of that, why would they sit up here and accept something from a woman who was divorced 3 times? Doesn't that look bad for them? So don't worry, when the right person comes along to challenge gay marriage, don't worry, it's going to happen. And even though I'm saying this and I want to be wrong, based on the trajectory of where we're going, Amir and no one else has been able to prove me that that is not the case. So I don't know if Amir is attempting in this last ditch effort to like glaze the fuck out of the Republican Party, that hopefully they'll leave the gays alone, which, I mean, hey, you're a married man that know that the Republican niggas are fucking up Grindr and stuff. So why would I, if I was your man, I'd be like, why would you know this? You got Grindr on your phone? What the hell going on here? PragerU, Turning Point USA, Heritage Foundation, in my opinion, hear me out. Y'all, all white supremacist societies, no shade. No shade. And do y'all research. Why do you think they make shit 9,000 pages? Because they know a lot of y'all ain't gonna read it. You ain't got the time to read. Life is too stressful for you to sit down and read 9,000 pages. But then for the people who sacrifice, the people that understand what the fuck is coming, girl, and gonna do they due deals to make sure they understand what the hell going on, come through and share information with you, and then y'all have the nerve to tell them that they're fear-based. But they're the ones who read the page. Oh. Maybe he is the one who mistreated the black community. Getting this lick back now. But like I said, I was once like him. I once was like him, no shade. Remember what they said, Bub, don't put the jacket on me. First of all, I don't even want to put a jacket on you because you're going to think I'm going to try to do something to you. And I'm tired of unattractive niggas thinking that I would do something to them. I will blow my fucking leg off before I ever do anything with him. And on top of that, I'm trying to help you take the jacket off. And the jacket is a straight jacket, my nigga. You the one wrapping yourself up in the ebbs and flows and throws of this jacket, not me. But yet want to sit here and be subscribed to me to this day. This same individual that said that is still subscribed to me. So I'm kind of getting scared because to me it kind of seemed like you want me to not just take the take the jacket off, but take the pants off. Because if a nigga was sitting here making me feel uncomfortable, why would I be subscribed to the nigga? Is this some DL Whisperer shit? Because I don't want no parts. I see what happens for the people who play that game. I'm good. And yes, Appa. Shout out to you. We got Harold in the building. What's going on, Pimple? What's going on? What's going on? Hope everything is well with you. Deshaun is commenting, baby. But let's continue, y'all.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's a really interesting philosophical take to like even just consider.
I've never looked at it that way. I've just always looked at it. That's a man beating a woman. And on the other side, I've seen not that many female to male beating males. I've never looked at it that deep. I never felt like I've had to. I don't look at it as an issue with the patriarchy. I don't see none of that. All I see is grown adult men acting as women, dominating actual women. And I think it's wrong. And on the flip side, I see not that many female to males dominating males. And I think that just points back to the biology and that we're different. Not looking at any deeper than that. There may be some people that are of the mindset that you're talking about, and how it goes back to how men are viewed and women are viewed, and it can go down to how, you have a woman in the office, and if she has a bad attitude, she's a B word. But if you have a male that has a bad attitude, it's a boss. Like, that's a man. Like, yeah, we can have those conversations.
Yeah, I went down that rabbit hole only because we were talking about why we're focusing on trans women. I don't think that most people are thinking in that way, but
and I think most people are focusing on trans women because they're men, and men dominate women. Therefore, they're getting all the eyes because it's clear as day wrong. We can call out the female to male too. That's wrong too. But again, going back to, yes, there is these elite people. If we go to any high school in a 50-mile radius, we pull all the men and all the female records, I would bet a lot of money that all the average men are taking off the average women.
There was something that you said about the female to male being wrong too. Are you just saying like?
I think you're speaking on sports. Are you speaking on sports specifically?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that's where I'm going to. I
have a question.
Biology.
I have a question for you. Do you think that self-identification is enough without surgery or hormone treatment for someone to identify as a trans man or a trans woman to enter in women's or male spaces?
Yeah, I think that, again, if people are doing bad stuff, they should be punished. Like, we should punish people who are doing bad stuff. But I think that people who are using spaces and like it's really not as big as just people are going to go into a bathroom and piss and wash their hands and leave, or they're going to go into a locker room and change. And if there are people that are doing bad behavior, they should be punished. And that's really how simple it should be, in my opinion.
If they're not doing bad behavior, but maybe have poor intentions too, is that something to consider? Like if someone has a fetish, which is kind of a thing I hear that.
Oh my God. 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 I'm over here trying to look up some other pictures real quick. Because I'm going to continue to make some points. It goes back to the fear aspect. This is all fear. What is it that you think is going to happen? Because if you think that was going to happen, wouldn't it have been happening? So y'all start off talking about, okay, we don't want gender reassignment surgery. We don't want any sort of gender affirmation for youth. We want social transitioning because, again, the makeup, the wigs, the clothes, the shoes, the perfume, all that stuff can come off. We can go with the pronouns and stuff because that stuff could possibly be changed as far as it being a phase. But then when they continue to grow up and being told that when they become 18, then they can make these changes. Then when there are some trans people, because there are not a lot of trans, there are some trans people who don't go forth with any sort of surgery or any sort of gender reassignment surgery. Because I learned the difference between transgender and transsexual, because I believe that that was a derogative term, but I learned, and again, educate me if I'm wrong, that transgender is somebody who has not had the gender reassignment surgery, while transsexual is someone who has. If I'm wrong, correct me. This is just, I've taken this from a credible source. I like this song. But these individuals end up becoming adults and they start to assimilate maybe through hormones. And there are some who assimilate fully as far as the full gender reassignment surgery, who fully assimilate. But now that these individuals are in these spaces and have been in these spaces and have not done anything harmful in these spaces, because if they had a negative or diabolical or nefarious intention, don't you think they would have carried that out by now? Even damn stalkers and damn serial killers, girl, don't stalk, they prey for months and years. They do it for a few days and then they pounce. So if you've been in the bathroom with this trans person, you didn't even know they was trans. But now that this level of ignorant awareness has come, and as again we can see in Kansas where they're saying that for the people who are trans, baby, you got to walk around with the ID that talks about your biology, and believe that that's not going to be used to discriminate against them, because now even Elliot is saying, well, what about the intention? You got to prove the intention, Miss Mamas. You got to prove it. And you're not proving it. But let me continue, because I had to stop, because just what she was saying, it was just like, girl, like, at this point, what is the basis of your stuff? Do you believe that these people are going to harm you? What's going to happen? Are they going to harm you? I want to know. Tell me.
Like, a man will get a fetish over cosplaying as a woman, not saying that they're necessarily trans, but just like going into women's spaces and not necessarily committing any crimes other than maybe the fact that they're a man going into a woman's restroom and they're not saying they're trans, but they're kind of like cosplaying, but they're not doing a specific crime.
Yeah,
Would you consider that wrong?
I'd ask how we'd prevent that. Like, that would be my
question. Well, I think that most like people who are on the conservative side would say the way to prevent it would be that you don't, like, it's separate like you separate bathrooms by biology.
Right, and how do you enforce that, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, that's a good question. You're right. There's no like police in like guarding restrooms. That's so true. So how do we typically force it? I mean, I guess it's just what's socially acceptable.
And I think we're already at the point where that's socially stigmatized, because again, I can pull up my Twitter feed right now and I'll find 50 posts of some of the largest end wokeness or trans libs of TikTok and like just ostracizing like very specific trans people in the country who were just filmed by somebody who felt uncomfortable and decided to like ruin their whole life and target them on social media. Like, I think it already is negatively stigmatized, which again, I would also say, how is this a fad if people's lives are being blown up on air to where they're getting recognized in the street, and that can lead to increased acts of violence? Like, for me, I don't think that that's something that is incentivizing further people to do.
Yeah, I think social media can be super toxic. I think
toxic in general, and I think there are some bad parts of the queer community and some things that they're doing, and there are some good parts. I think it could still be a fad, in my opinion, and I do find it, you know, we were talking about, because I've seen a video, you've probably seen the same video of the male to female, not even male to female, it's just a creep in the bathroom, just put on a wig, a dress, and makeup, and was erect in the dress, just like standing there looking at all the women coming in and out the bathroom. That's disgusting. They're probably not even trans. I'm not gonna put that on trans people, because you really can't enforce something like that. And even for, on the flip side, if we're talking about, but we just want people to be safe in bathrooms, well, I'm not gonna say most, but there are certain areas, especially in the gay community and apps, where a lot of bathrooms aren't safe. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes down in bathrooms, so even then you really can't mandate.
Yeah, in LA, there's like a lot of gender neutral bathrooms where it's just like, and it's not just like a single stall, because most people think of a gender neutral bathroom. It's like you go in the stall, you lock it, and then you get out, which I think everybody's fine with. But when it's like larger people where you have to accommodate more guests because it's like ever revolving door, they have stalls that are just like, it's all private in the stalls. And then
I'm
you just have a
sorry,
big...
those are my favorite bathrooms.
Don't apologize. That's good. I'm glad you're a gender neutral advocate.
Okay, so why?
It's better. I love when I go.
The reason why people love that is because, for one, you can go into those bathrooms and it's just you. You can blow that bathroom up and leave. If nobody saw you go in and didn't see you leave, if you came in and nobody saw you and you left and nobody saw you, baby, and you just blew it the fuck up, I'm talking about atomic style, you ain't got to worry about that. Who trying to blow the bathroom up where everybody else in the bathroom? Who's trying to do the walk of shame? This is what I mean. Like, girl, these precautions are put in place. You have stalls. And when they talked about that person saying, oh, well, that person was erect when they came into the bathroom or whatever. Well, again, there are people who are trans, who knows what it's like to be trans, that you can get that information from to help you understand what is trans or not. But the problem is that the level of information that the Republicans, the conservatives have at large about trans is that they believe that trans people in general, applicable across the board, are men cosplaying as women. That's what they believe. And no shade, Amir, when you were talking about, well, isn't one enough? Isn't one enough? Yes. For the Republicans, that one experience is enough, which means that now all trans people are seen like that. But yet at the same time, okay. So again, that's what I'm saying. Like, girl, I don't think I really want to play this game of equality for real. Because I be trying to help have these conversations be steered into equality and reference to something that's productive. But if you want to be combative when it comes down to the equality, I'm on the same board as you as well. Because if one is just enough, okay then, well, the fact that Trump's name is in there more than once, he's guilty, correct? The fact that Pam Bondi's ass over here, girl, with this fucking gutlet, was sitting here lying, that's one, right? The fact that ICE agents have unalived people, it happened one time, so I guess it just happens once, so that's good, right? That's what I mean. Like, y'all not ready for these conversations, baby. And y'all not ready for these conversations with BubzDaGawd, because no shade. I'm cool to remove the political correctness. I obviously know how to have conversations. Make sure y'all check out my one-on-one sit down with the Faith of the Substance. You can check my community post to be able to find the video. Make sure you go over there and support her as well and subscribe. Dope ass content creator. We had a conversation for real, extensively for the first time online, and it was dope. I felt safe. I felt comfortable, but we were able to tap into humanity. That was the foundation of respect. I don't have to know you to respect you generally to give you that respect. But as we continue to get to know each other, there was greater level of respect and even awareness that was there. An opportunity manifested that I'm grateful for. And I want more of that to happen as I continue to delve into community. But I also understand that with certain people, like Amir and others who need that smoke, baby, I'm the one that can give that. I don't need to be in a Jubilee episode with a whole bunch of motherfuckers sitting around me. No, baby, we can do the one-on-one. Because no shade, all the debate is, to be honest, to see who is going to bring up the best argument. That's what a debate is. Who has the best argument to sway those that are listening? That's it. But when you are operating in truth and you allow your emotions to supercharge that in a truthful manner, baby, even the people that know what you're saying is true and will still sit up there and pretend like they ain't hear it, girl, you can tell in their body language, you can tell in the way that they operate, girl, what they do afterwards, that something has changed on the inside. And Amir is a public figure. You have close to 1 million subscribers, my guy. That means 1 million eyes and more are on you and listening to what you're saying. A lot of them gonna be ignorant and stupid and dumb and bigoted and just be grateful to have you because now you're the casual wild card that could be thrown out on the gay people to be like, check this out. But then again, there are people like myself, like Conscious TV, like Reckless Logic, like T.S. Madison, like Hope Giselle. There are plenty of us out here that are going to be able to see it from a different angle and be like, oh, hold on, bitch, wait a minute, what about this? And obviously, as we can see on this video, Mason did the same thing. Because again, the talking points that Miss Fischer and Amir and others that think like them, it's nothing new, it's regurgitated. And they came across somebody who, again, is solution-oriented. Not just complaining about the problem, but willing to offer solutions that satisfies both sides. It just seemed like one particular party does not want to meet the other in the middle. They want it their way or the highway. And you wonder why America is on a highway to hell. What's going on, the Black Anarchist Podcast? Make sure y'all support them by blaming on the dress and their latest book. Let me see. Where's their first comment at? Why do straight men keep asking me to put on makeup and wigs? Because I think there's a level of femininity that I guess is patriarchal in a sense. Because again, like Amir said earlier in his explanation about his experience as a child, he thought because he was feminine and he liked dudes that he must be a girl. So I don't know if some of the dudes that thought like that grew up as adults and probably think that. And no shade, I ain't gonna hold you. I am attracted to feminine men, and no shade. If my nigga want to put a little hair on or put a little skirt on or something, I'm not going to be mad at it. I'm not even going to hold you. And again, as much as we believe that everything is so binary, so black and white, baby, it's so much gray area. It'd be so many people who just scared of the gray area. They don't accept trans no matter what stage. You can't please men. Either you're not masculine enough or not feminine enough. Well, the men you pleasing are not. They struggle with the whole concept of what a man is for themselves because they can't be themselves. They can't be the man that they are because they're pretending to be some other version of a man. And no shade, like your book says, they're never going to be pleased because they have a societal expectation to play. And then when you bring that down to the queer community and how conflated that can be in reference to the patriarchy, it just murkies up the water to where there are gay men who desire masculine men. But then there are men like myself who desire feminine men. And then there are intersections within. And I think if we were to have more of those conversations, we would probably get somewhere in reference to some of the blind spots in our community. No shade. And Deshaun talking about drug lords. Girl, what's going on? What about females that go into men's restrooms? And no shade. If they were to enact them laws, if I was in Kansas, baby, and I was at a damn gay bar, I wouldn't even allow females in the building. Nope, this is an all-gay homosexual space, bitch. Unless you're a lesbian, girl, you can't be here. If you're a straight girl, I'll come here to party. No, you got your own bathrooms. Go to your heterosexual bathrooms. Go to your religiously ordained bathrooms. Go to your binary bathrooms, girl. You don't get to come party with us. No, miss ma'am. You don't get to sit up here and harm parts of our community, bitch, and then come here to celebrate your bachelorette party to your man who fucking one of the people that dance here at the club. So, no. And I wonder what would happen if gay men were to do that. I wonder what would happen if gay men decided to play into that toxic patriarchy and told heterosexual women, oh, you can't come in here. Only lesbian women can come in here. And if you're going to be lesbian, you better be dressing like a damn woman. Because if you come in here looking like a man, we're not going to have a girl. You can't be wearing the man's clothes going into the women's restroom, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, girl, if everybody were to start playing the game, then watch how the other side would be like, well, no. Y'all can't do that. That's not right. Two wrongs don't make a right. But a negative times a negative equals a positive. So again, how do you want to do this? Again, Mason coming through with motherfucking solutions. giving us ideas that we could possibly think about. Meanwhile, all Amir and everybody else can do is just, well, I just want to go back to my point where just this and just this. Okay, girl. Basically, what you want to hear is that we're going to get rid of all the trans shit, girl, and that the gays are going to be safe. And the gag is they're already working on getting rid of the trans shit. And when they do, ain't no if at this point. This is straight up some damn Hail Hitler ass shit. We're seeing the same symptoms happen. But once the trans shit is removed, you really honestly think that you are going to be exempt, that gays are going to be able to live their gay life? No, they're coming after you, pimpin'. And I just wonder how it's going to feel that when they do, the level of betrayal you're going to personally feel. Not just because of what it is that you did to your own community, that you can't even be around your own community without a bodyguard and wearing a damn hoodie and glasses, you know, the same type of clothing or apparel that got a black man unalive, Trayvon Martin unalive, because he had that hoodie on, right? So you're walking around those same spaces doing that to be able to hide yourself, but yet you still want to be connected to the queer community. And also, I wonder how it's going to feel when you have the flashbacks of the PragerU video where they welcomed you in and felt like they gave you a purpose to realize that you were nothing but a fucking voice piece, and that all the people that you looked up to, the Candace Owens, the Braden Tatums, how they are falling from grace and trying to knock each other out the way to glaze Master's tip so that they can have just one more day in the service, one more time. He didn't have to let me live because the best head I had to give, and I'm glad. I wonder what that's gonna feel like. Let's continue.
Put a restaurant and like say,
oh, I know what you're talking
like
about.
this is the bathroom. It's a row of sinks and then a bunch of like Starbucks bathrooms.
Yeah,
I love that.
I like
the single.
that too.
I love. It's just.
Why do you
easy.
like that?
I love having my own little stall, my own little like room, like Buc-ee's. You ever been to Buc-ee's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Buc-ee's.
Yeah, and I think that that's like a perfect solution.
Yeah.
For like making people feel private and safe. And
Yeah. We solved something.
Bathrooms.
We came to a conclusion.
Yeah,
Obviously not. Not in Kansas. Not in Kansas, though. Because, baby, they said, no, fuck that shit, bitch. We gonna change y'all shit. Your ID says if you are born male as far as your biology, female as your biology, I don't give a fuck if you want to replace that. I don't give a fuck if you want to change that or amend that. No, baby, this is what it is. And now they have something they can use to be able to target the trans people. And I would love it. I would really love for it to just be that simple to where it's like, oh, we saw something. Yay. We did it. Yay. Like, oh my God, we did it. We did it, girl. Like, no. Unfortunately, the objective reality is not that simple. If it was, we wouldn't be in this predicament. But baby, they have told too many lies, and they need so many sacrifices to be able to cover up them lives. And as much as you want to just, yay, it like we saw something, girl, a lot of trans people, unfortunately, are going to have experiences where their cases are going to be unsolved. And that's the sad reality.
I think the whole,
to
like,
be like this now.
Like, I think the whole like Nancy Mace thing of like legislating against the Capitol of like trans women using women's bathrooms specifically to target like Sarah McBride, who's the first trans woman. Like, that's just a clear example of like targeting somebody specifically to make them feel less welcome on the
especially for someone that is that, I mean, to be honest, that passing, I don't know if that's hurtful or not, but like she is
I think most trans
person.
people would say passing is a thing.
And probably people are like, oh, I can tell, probably because you're looking for little male cues. No, like if I didn't know, I wouldn't know about surgery. There's a lot of trans people out nowadays. Surgery's gotten way better where you just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when I said I had X chromosomes on the Michael Knowles surrounded, I've gotten hundreds of people that are like, in the comments like, I knew he was a woman, I knew he was a woman. But now I have people saying, you're clearly a man and I know what your genitals are. It's like, okay, well, we've kind of just shown that gender is so figurative, and it's like, it's not this like clear
and
cut.
I think what makes gender figurative is going back to the OG gays, like the studs and the butches, like the lesbians that are hyper masculine, but they still identify as biologically female. And their bathroom experience is something to look into. But also, I just miss when it was just okay to just be you.
Girl, what? Girl, I'm supposed to be over playing my game, and I'm not even over playing my game, girl. My game had to put me back in the main menu because I was on pause for too long. What? I missed it when you could just be you. As if though trans people are not exploring and figuring out who the fuck they are. And this is not even a dominant group in society. Even within the queer community, it is a minority within a fucking minority within a fucking minority within a minority. And even the trans community has a minority within it as well. Exactly. I just miss. Well, didn't you state earlier that, or in your other video with the pride community, that, you know, as far as trans children and gender affirming care, where, you know, where things are going to change and, you know, you're not the same person that you was before. Okay, so now we're having this nostalgia now for your talking point, but you're telling the trans children that, hey, wait until you become older to be able to see if this is what you want to do, because you might change. And you were like hoping that they would change. And Miss Ellen Fisher, I believe that they would want them to change as far as, no, you're not a boy or a girl. You are who God created you to be. But now that things are changing, words are evolving in meaning. Shout out to the dictionaries that are descriptive, because they're just mirroring what society is showing us and the evolution of society that's actually speaking. Shout out to them. But once that starts happening, now all of a sudden it's, oh, I long and I miss. And maybe the longing and the missing that you're talking about is that fucking solidarity that we had as a country, especially before the orange one came through and like a prize pig started spewing slop all over the fucking country. Y'all worried about the trans community sitting here, quote unquote, mutilating children, even though there is plenty of information out there that challenges that, but yet will support a man who during his first presidency knew that there was some sort of virus happening and millions of Americans lost their lives because of his DEI shit. Like, y'all got to make this shit make sense, and y'all can't. And y'all afraid to have conversations with people like me or CTV, or to give us the opportunity to have a conversation with y'all, because y'all know that, baby, we gonna get down to what y'all really mean, because it's crazy that Mason had to sit there for as long as they did to try to get to the end part of it, when he was offering the solutions and the cliff notes and the AI help and the ChatGPT and Claude help, and came through as a peer to look over your stuff, to peer review, to peer check, to even have the teacher come through and the professionals come through and look at it, and you're still uncertain? And it took us this long to get to this point for you to finally state what your real stuff was. Oh, I just missed when it was this. Well, I just missed that when it was that. Well, according to you, you got the gay marriage, you got the husband, the ring meant the thing, girl. Where the hell is my husband? He finally came because I got a ring. Now you finally got all of that. Now, all of a sudden, you should be good. You should be cool. Because you have all that. Now, all of a sudden, you should have no problems. But now that the trans community is trying to get their gots, now that you got yours, now that your plate is full, now that you was able to get what you wanted, and you left the rest alone, okay, then allow for other people to get what is theirs. But because this system and the people that you support, that you probably didn't believe in the beginning because they were affirming and trauma bonding with your ass, now that you're seeing the manifestation of all of that, girl, let me shut up.
I miss when it was okay to just be a masculine woman or a feminine man.
But
and
see, you're already implying that that's not okay anymore, and it totally is. There's so many masculine women, and there's so many feminine men.
But there's so much hyper focus on being trans.
Like the labels.
That's a perfect thing. There's so much hyper focus on being trans, right? Who's hyper focusing on that? It's the anti-trans people. That's the big focus.
GLAAD, I forgot what it means. The GLAAD, this gay organization that sits here and called Chloe Cole a transphobic alt-right bigot. It's a whole trans person that detransitioned, and you're calling her a trans far-right bigot?
Well,
because who's giving, and I don't know this person, so I'm going to speak ignorantly here, so I'm just assuming here, so again, correct me. You might be able to get me on this one. But who are the people that are controlling the narrative around her experience? Who are the ones that are manipulating her emotionally from this experience to then make it a broad generalization over the entire community? And again, I don't have evidence of what's being said, so again, I'm ignorantly speaking. I have to do my research, but I'm stating that I'm speaking ignorantly. This is probably one of the first times I've done it in this commentary, even though Amir has been doing it the entire time. But if you are allowing the other group to utilize your story as a broad stroke and a broad generalization across the entire queer community, and you're not checking them and saying, hey, since I'm the one that went through this experience, let's also listen to the professionals so that we can have the most objective aspects so that this does not happen. And you stand with them, again, I am just assuming, ignorantly speaking, but you're standing with them, yes, you are bigoted. No shade. But let's continue.
When you go to these like Glenson, Trevor Project, when you go to all these gay organizations, which I loved, I started my high school's first gay straight alliance. Loved it.
Interesting.
When you go to these websites now, it's all the TQ plus. It's barely mentioning gay people. It's all like trans rights, queer
a big
rights.
reason why is
because again, nigga, you said that, oh, after 2015, we were chilling, we were good. There was no problem. There was no, okay, we got gay marriage, what's next? What else do we require? What else of this American dream is also a part of ours as well, because we're Americans, right? It wasn't any of that. Again, in my video essay, that's why I knew I clocked. In my video essay, girl, I have you stating and agreeing with the other dude saying that after 2015, we were good. We should have stopped. We should have stopped. We got everything we needed, girl. So, again, if the gays are good, then what's the fucking problem? You started a gay, straight, a GSA at your school and loved it and was great. And I'm pretty sure before that time, y'all was dealing with shit as well, because even though it was great in the community, I'm pretty sure y'all dealt with y'all own shit outside of it. But now that the gays have a level of privilege now, because baby, I got to get on the gays. I got to get on the homosexuals real quick. For you Hershey patrolmen, fudge packers, okay? Hershey highway robbers, okay? You deep-throated whores, okay? You pole smokers, you push pop suckers, okay? Let me get on y'all real quick. And this is why I gotta get on Amir. Because Amir, I get it. I walked in your shoes. You're a black man, black queer man, that have been invited into white spaces. I've been there when I was in high school, drama club, predominantly white. Never was caught in here, never was caught anything of the sort. Never had no racist experience. Doesn't mean they weren't racist to other people, but hey, they weren't racist to me, so hey, I'm cool. Accept it, going over to their houses, spending the night over their houses, afraid to fucking pee at night. I'm holding my shit, my bladder finna bust, because I'm afraid about walking around and go pee in the bathroom and they forget a black man is here. Nah, I'm dead. I went through all of that. But again, Amir, I had to educate myself about the African American experience. And even though I'm African American, does not mean that I'm automatically educated, that I'm automatically understanding of things. The reason why I'm probably kind of militant in my kind of thinking when it comes down to this anyway is because after my ego death, for some reason, I started watching documentary about trap niggas. About the same people that at once upon a time, I would share the same sentiments as Amir to be like, yes, those niggas are destroying the black community. Those niggas are the one that's fucking everything up. And they're the problem. And I don't want to be around them. And whenever it's a gang of niggas, I'm going to leave because I already know when you're around a gang of niggas, what the hell going to happen. But as I watched those documentaries, again, YouTube is a beautiful thing. I think if YouTube was shut down, I would probably have a problem with that, girl. I would have to work some shit out because YouTube, no shade, is a part of my life. I'm on YouTube all the time. No matter what I'm doing, girl, I'm on YouTube. Because YouTube, the internet, is the window to the world. It is here to remind you that you don't own all of fucking reality. The only reality that you do own is your own. See it? The one you own is your own because it's yours. But you don't own everything else. And as I were to sit here and listen to these individuals, especially in inebriated states, higher levels of consciousness, whether they off of weed, which shout out to them because baby, I'm a pass puff, whether they off alcohol, no shade, I kind of sip a little bit more. I love Crown, Royal Apple, and Cavassier, bitch. Give me a little Verner's or give me a little Pepsi on the ice, on the rocks. The nigga smooth, I'm cool with that. But they be off of these things and they be talking about their life experience and it makes sense. They grew up in a system that destroyed any real objective hope for them to where the only way out of the hood, out of this place that is despairing, out of this place that literally portrays the energetic hygiene of the community at large, that the only way out that bitch is to either be an athlete or to be a rapper. And since everybody ain't gonna be able to dribble a ball or throw a football, or at least, again, to everybody else's point in the video, dominate, because a very dominating sport, a lot of them become rappers. And then they get incentivized. You get more views, you get more notoriety, you get more clout for being more destructive. To where these same individuals that I was watching on these documentaries and learning more about them, I come to the very sad understanding and reality that those same people I just watched have now transitioned, no pun intended, to whatever is after this life. And at alarming rates. And then people like Amir and Candace Owens and others would turn around and use the symptoms of what black people have been through and what we've done to ourselves against us, which, yes, we need to definitely address that because blackness is harming blackness. And once you start harming yourself, we need to start having conversations. Because that's a ploy and a tactic from the enemy, because if the house implodes from the inside out, baby, it's easier to take control of. But if we're going to be objective and rational like these people claim that they are, we have to look at all of the evidence, and a lot of y'all don't have all of the evidence mindsets, let alone attention spans. So now that we are adding these other information to get the broader 2020 360 wraparound ass perspective of everything, now the objective truth is coming out. And I'm low-key looking at the screen right now at Amir's face because it's like, Amir, my ninja. I was hoping that you were queerphobic or transphobic, but the way that you be operating, the way that you're showing up in this public way, that is more protective of what you have invested in and what you have benefited from your sudden rise to fame because of PragerU. It's like all I'm gonna say is, like I said at the end of my video essay, nigga, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Because there's nothing that you said thus far that like honors the fears and the concerns of your side and your perspective. Mason again dealt with that, gave that honor, understood where it came from, and then offered a solution. But yet you haven't offered one solution besides the whole bathroom thing. But anyway, let's continue.
Because there's so much legislative attacks on trans people. In 2023, there
Because
were
of the kids.
In 2023, there were 750 anti-trans bills that were introduced into different legislators across the country. That's not just about kids.
Do you think
it was
that
about books? It was about workplace and housing protections. Like, do you think that it's a good thing that we still have 28 states that lack any discrimination protections for trans people?
What does a discrimination protected entail?
So that means specifically when it comes to housing and employment, if somebody is evicted for being trans or somebody is fired for being trans, they have no legal recourse to actually challenge that in a court of law or like sue the organization for wrongful intent or discrimination. That is wrong. That's a bad thing.
I mean, it depends on the definitions of what we're talking about, because she can't help being a woman. I can't help being black. I can't help being gay. She can't help being straight, but like, there's people that are like, yeah, you can be like a woman today and like a girl tomorrow. Like, we've seen this on Jubilee's videos. We've seen this in a bunch of different videos, like non-binary people saying,
but what does that have with the discrimination protections? I think that's a really important topic. And then
because
we can talk
you can just say whatever you are.
Okay, then. Well, how about this? Maybe that comes with the territory when it comes down to social transitioning, because you're trying to figure it out, right? So you're trying to figure out what works for you. That's a part of the social transitioning that y'all claim that y'all would prefer to have as opposed to the actual medical one. So when you have people who are exploring and figuring out what is for them so that they can say, hey, I have enough evidence, I have enough lived experience, I have enough of what I need to be able to make the decision in my life, the next step in my life, because I'm the one experiencing it. Now that's what I'm saying. Like, girl, I just want y'all to just start saying what's on your mind, girl. Y'all trying to be intellectual. Y'all trying to be smart. Y'all trying to be, trying to find a way to say shit. No, just say it how you feel. I just want y'all to just start doing that. Y'all the ones that are afraid to be honest, because the trans people being honest, the queer people being honest, the black people being honest. Y'all gonna be honest, and we talking about who we are as far as our identity. Can you be honest about the fact that, yes, you are a bigot? Because, baby, this is far past transphobia now. This is far past transphobia and queerphobia right now. This is bigot behavior. Because it's like we're having circular conversations about something that I already broke down. And if I was Mason, I would be like, okay, based off everything that I stated, what is it that you feel the disconnect is? What are you not listening or hearing? Because the job of this really should be a conversation, but they're putting it as debate. But in this exchange that we're having right here, what is the main goal? What is the end goal? What are we both trying to accomplish here? We're trying to accomplish a resolve, right? So if we're going to accomplish a resolve, then let's work to that. And it seems like Amir does not want to come to an actual resolve that can actually help the queer community, because his side does not want to help them. The only way the queer community can be helped from his perspective is if these trans people go back to what they were, according to what they believe, and for us, the gay people, to go back to our natural order of life, because even the way that we show up in those Republican spaces is seen as devious behavior. And of course they would call it devious behavior because they're the one doing the deviant and devious behavior. TBT says, but he can say he is gay and we are supposed to believe it and give him rights and protections. Baby, see, universe, I already know that I'm being prepared for these type of spaces. And baby, I'm grateful for the teacher and low-key teachers that I've had and that I do have, girl, that have prepared me for this. Because baby, I don't mind having conversations with people who really trying to find a resolve. I will work with them. I will give grace and mercy unto those individuals who are trying to find a gray area. Because at this point, gray is the best area at this point. But for individuals who are just blatant bigots and just want to talk their shit, I also have smoke for them. Because a lot of you motherfuckers that had all this smoke for queer and trans people, girl, and talking about Trump and all this stuff and how it's going to help the community, how are your eggs tasting now? How is your milk tasting now? How's the medication going, girl? Did you get your shit yet? How does it feel to go from paying $19 copay, bitch, to $19,000 copay? How does that feel? To know that Meemaw only got a few months left. How does that feel? How does that taste? Because again, this is what happens when ignorance is allowed to spread. And that's why I feel for individuals like the Black Anarchist Podcast, who has stated a lot of times that, and I can understand this from a content creator standpoint, that I'm doing what I can to try to make this information as simple, as broken down, as digestible as possible. But it gives the illusion that, baby, some people just ain't got no teeth and they can't eat no solid foods, and you want liquid form. Well, we can go ahead and give you the liquid in reference to a fucking vapor that also is a part of some sort of smoke. So why don't we do it in that way too as well? Because it's like, this shit is crazy. The information is there, and I'm a person that loves information. That's why all the nerdy, geeky people that y'all talk about, oh, you're a nerd, you're a geek. That's why a lot of you motherfuckers working for them now. Because knowledge is power, Miss Mamas. That's why those geeks and people like that are in positions of power right now. And those are unhealed ones. Those are ones that are wanting to destroy others to get back at everybody else. Those are individuals. The people that are in positions of power now are projecting their perspectives and their shit onto the American people. And y'all worried about the trans people because y'all gotta actually learn what pronouns are. You actually have to be refreshed on what English and grammar actually is. Now you actually have to get a refresher on what being respectable is. You don't want to get respect, but you want the respect. Just like Tifa T said earlier in reference to Amir, you want queer people to not, trans people to have limited rights and limited expression in this world, but yet you okay with you. And then you being gay. And then on top of that, you even get on the gays when the gays be doing too much. Y'all shouldn't be kissing. Y'all shouldn't be holding hands. Y'all shouldn't be doing any of this shit, girl. So you want us to be fucking I'm about to say inclusive, like J inclusive. You want us to be reclusive gays? Y'all want us to be some Brandy Cinderella gays? In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be. That's what you want us to do, girl? Meanwhile, Amir over here talking like them zanies and fools who don't believe in sensible rules. Believing that he's a sensible person. Tifa T says, I say he is not gay. He is heterosexual and acting out. He just needs Jesus. His marriage rights should be revoked. Everything spewing from his mouth is heterosexual propaganda and religious dogma. Well, if y'all want Amir to be able to possibly have a conversation with me, y'all can use y'all hype points on that damn video essay, girl, if I'm not mistaken. But let's continue.
I think his point is saying that you shouldn't be able to fire someone based on what they're wearing, what they're calling themselves, how they're identifying, that you shouldn't be able to fire someone.
And
or
do you know who agrees with that? Neil Gorsuch, conservative Supreme Court justice appointed by Donald Trump, who in Bostock also agreed that discriminating against trans people is sex-based discrimination in the workplace.
Well, I think you shouldn't be able to discriminate anybody, no matter what they're wearing and what they're calling themselves. You don't even have to say how they're identifying. You just say what they're calling themselves. And so if you're
doing the job that you signed up to do and you're not being a bad employee,
you're being a good employee. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You shouldn't be fired based on.
But 28 states don't agree. They say that it's within religious liberty clause for an owner, if they have an employee who comes out as trans, to just fire that employee.
What do you think of that?
It depends on the job. I'm thinking about.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hear me out.
Go ahead, Miss Mamas. Miss
I'm
Mamas.
thinking about if you're at a Hooters waitress and you transition to a male, you might be fired.
Okay, that's a fair point. What do you think?
It's a fair point for what? To say that
Hooters, you ever seen a male Hooters waitress?
yes. Wait, actually, yeah.
You have?
Yes,
What?
there have been.
Oh, well, the news to me. I take it back. I didn't know there was male Hooters waitress.
Well, they're like bartenders. They don't have
That
to be
doesn't
like the
count,
people that go
man.
in. Well, why can't you just be a bartender? Why do you?
And no shade. Cherry the Boom could be a Hooters waitress. JB's could be a Hooters waitress. YG Dior could be a Hooters waitress. They could be all that. And according to y'all, the word y'all love to use, passing, they could pass to do that. The purpose of Hooters, if I'm not mistaken, is to serve up chicken wings and chicken breasts being served to you by a pair of thighs and breasts. Because it's a very male-oriented, heterosexual-oriented space. Because you got food, beer, and boobs. And again, based on like y'all said earlier with Mason and their secondary sex characteristics, i.e. the beard and stuff like that, if motherfucking Cherry the Boom comes up in there, there are going to be men who are not going to have a problem with that. The only time they would have a problem with that, according to that knowledge, is if their trans identity was known. And what Mason is saying, and that is that in 28 states, that you can't have that shit happening. Which means that if they find out that you are trans, you lose your employment. And that is something that happens far too fucking often. And Amir's response is, well, who cares? But if somebody said who cares to that trans child who, quote unquote, according to y'all, regretted transitioning, then it's, oh, one's too many. That's what I'm saying. Like, girl, y'all don't want to play this game with me.
You have to get fired.
That's fair. You can move to the bartender, but is that wrong? Is that transphobic that I can't be
I'm not saying
a waitress?
No, I'm just saying if you fire somebody specifically for who they are, that's blatant discrimination.
That's why I'm saying it depends on what they're doing. That's why I'm like,
If they get a job that is specifically a female-driven job that men aren't complaining, hey, how come you're not letting us be Hooters waitresses? Men aren't doing that, right? Men aren't like mad. They're not feeling discriminated against, so they're not getting hired.
And those women that work at Hooters, no shade, probably have a higher chance of being sexually assaulted because they're in a space where that is a very degrading job where at the end of the day, they're not saying, oh my God, this service is so amazing because it's all women and because the food is great. No, it's because I want to see a hot ass chick. I don't want to go home to my wife. I want to see a hot ass chick who take care of her damn body, who got legs and hips and body. I want to be able to see her. And the only people that I can think of that would work at Hooters, if I'm not mistaken, who are males or cisgendered men, will probably be gay men. Because when you look at Halloween, a lot of these gay niggas be dressing like motherfucking slutty ass Hooters employees.
To be those jobs. But if you are hired as a biological woman and then you transition to a man, that could be a problem in the workforce. Not saying I'm advocating for the Hooters restaurant. This is a very obscure example.
I don't think that Hooters is like the primary focus of trans visibility. Dude.
No, this is just, you're just giving an example for the sake of the example.
It depends. I'm not going to blanket
Okay,
say
by
that's
and large
wrong.
then, let's make an exception for Hooters.
Yeah.
Like, what about every other workforce?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Except for Hooters. Okay, we solved something else.
Be protected, yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, seeing how people can just be whatever they want to be whenever they want to be.
Do you think that we should also ban, we might get into like drag shows and stuff for kids. Do you think we should ban people under the 18 going to Hooters?
Yeah.
Okay. You're consistent.
Yeah. I think it's disgusting. When like, ew. When they have, like they take a selfie, like the group of like 10-year-old boys and like all the Hooters waitresses on the sides.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Disgusting.
I'm like, what parents
Child
are doing
pageant
that?
shows. Disgusting.
I mean, but at the same time, again, a lot of men would be happy to see their fucking sons taking pictures with Hooter waitresses as opposed to being gay. I mean, how many videos have you seen of little boys who were watching Fast and Furious and saw a scene with the girls and the chicks in the cars and his eyes just open and stuff, and the caption is, "Oh, I can breathe. I can breathe because, you know, my son is like, girl, for real?"
End it all.
Yeah, toddlers and tiaras is
They're
so
not going to end it
disgusting.
all. They're not going to
Kissing
be
scenes
fair.
in any child show. Disgusting. If you want to make
Yeah, no, I
shows
agree.
age appropriate,
Okay,
like,
then I mean, we got to call for a reform of the Lion King. I already showed y'all in my video essay with Amir the different type of movies from Disney. So are y'all ready to remix Disney? Are you ready to do what the black people that y'all claim the black people and the gay people from doing, girl? Are you prepared to remove the shit to where ain't gonna be no kissing at all, girl? We don't know how we don't know how Simba and Nala got together. We don't know what happened. At these points, these are not male or female. These are just animals. We're gonna make the animals and make them non-binary, non-gender conforming animals, girl. That's just what it is. Are y'all willing to do that? Of course not. Of course not, because at the end of the day, heterosexuality is encouraged. And Amir, you talking about you cool with that? Can you talk to the people at PragerU and ask them if they cool with that and let us know what they say? Because I would love to know their response. Oh, I don't have to know. Or I don't have to wait for you to tell me. I can just go ahead and Google it, and I did, and I know what they stand for. They believe shit between one man and one woman. So yeah. Let's continue.
Degrassi only, I mean, you really can't mandate this, but like, if Degrassi was only showing like high school students, cool. But there's some stuff, there's some scenes where I don't think it's okay even for straight people to be doing.
Yeah, like there's actually a cartoon, I feel like it's Jurassic World or something, for young kids that recently conservatives are upset about because there's like there's like cartoon kids, but voluptuous woman and two girls that are making out, and conservatives are really upset. And I'm thinking, I wouldn't even want if it was a male female making out in a kid's show. Like in a very sexual making out kid show. Like why this is not a kid show.
That's why even like I have problems like, and I fire back in my audience sometimes. I'm like, I have a problem with a lot of Disney movies. Why are you kissing that girl to wake her up? That is disgusting.
This is a whole new
You're
podcast.
very purity culture.
Like,
who even knew, Amir?
I know.
You
like,
cited
ew.
me on the purity culture.
Yes. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Okay. I have another question. Do you think that we should be compelled legally to use someone's preferred pronouns?
I think that it depends on the workplace. Like, I don't think it should be like you go to jail if you misuse pronouns. Like, Jordan Peterson built his career off of C-16, which, if you know, is a Canada bill, which was a total lie. Nobody was going to jail for misusing pronouns. The idea was that a student, if they feel like they're discriminated in the classroom, can sue an educator, which I think is fine. I think if you're a teacher, you should address your kids and your students how they want to be addressed. Like, you don't want to make that a distraction from someone getting an education.
Is there limits to that?
No, like if I told my teacher, hey, I know my name's Mason on there, but I'd prefer if you call me like Scott, and the teacher messes up and they're like, oh, sorry, I meant Scott. But then, like, if it's intentional with like, hey, Mason, like, that is very clearly like you're targeting the student.
Right.
And I think that's right for discrimination.
Is there limits to that though? For example, if a student is like, well, my pronouns are Zer, and you keep messing up and not saying Zer.
If you mess up, it's fine. But if you're intentionally doing it as like a political stance,
so there's no limits for you, right? When it comes to that, when there's no limits to what, like, say for example, if Jordan's my teacher and I'm saying I deserve to be referred to as Lord, and a teacher's like, no, and I can sue him for not calling me a Lord.
No, just say you right there. Like, why can't, there's so many ways around that, from just being like, without intentionally,
right?
Like,
but if my teacher kept not calling me Lord,
no, if your teacher is intentionally, and there's proven ways that this teacher is like, no, I'm defiant, I'm taking a stand against this person is blank, like, you're distracting from your job as an educator. If you have a fringe student who's like very obsessive about something, it's very clear, and you prove that in court, that person is like the fringe person in there. But when we're talking about trans people, which is what this whole conversation's about, it's not that these trans people are getting up in arms and they're suing everybody for improperly gendering them or making a mistake. They're getting pissed and they're suing people for teachers that are taking political stances and being like, you're not a woman, he he and intentionally doing that, like, yeah, now you're distracting from your job as an educator.
But I think it's interesting how it goes even further, though. He gave the example of Zer, how completely unnatural that is. Is it not fair for a teacher to say, I'm not going to like call you Zer?
Just don't do it. Like, you don't have to make a big
when you
stink
point,
about
if
it.
you're like, oh, she
How completely. I just love some of the sudden Freudian slips sometimes.
over
Go ahead.
there, or like, yeah, she has the crayons, and you're like, I'm not gonna say Zer has the crayons. Is that wrong?
Well, if you're just like, and if they make a stink about it, so like, what's your example? Like, you're saying she over there, and then the person's like, I'm not she, I'm Zer. The teacher can just be like, oh, my bad, and then move on with the lesson. Like, you can view neo pronouns as like, I don't want to deal with this at all or touch this. That's fine. But when you're making it like part of your classroom time to specifically call out this student who's probably going through something with their own identity and is like trying to figure out who they are, like, now you're just like, you're punching down. You know what I mean?
Is it not fair though to have lines of reality that like, oh, this is how we call people by she or he?
Like societal structures, like in this country, he, she, it, or they. No Z's or Zers or whatever. Like, is that fine to have like?
But why would
hard
you allow
lines?
they and it?
Well,
just
it
said
is
it.
normally associated with a non-living. Well, some people say it for animals. I normally will.
Oh, I thought you were saying for humans.
Or for humans, if we just go.
Well, he's just saying the pronouns. Like,
Yeah.
those are the.
Those are common ones. Now I'm gonna say it, but they, them. If we just stuck it there, is that fine? Is that a middle ground? Like, is that?
No, I'm not advocating for any legislation for like specific pronouns. Like, again, I'm not saying anything should be mandated, but I think that there should be instances where if someone's specifically being targeted and discriminated against, they should be able to call that out.
Isn't that a mandate? No. Aren't you saying that like anybody should be able to sue their teacher based if they're not getting referred to as?
No, if they're intentionally being targeted. That's the difference here, that we're not.
But I intentionally target people by just existing.
What do you mean?
That's where we go. That's where we keep going so far down society. Like, I get called a racist and homophobic every single day, and I'm a black man that messes with a dude.
And if people are wrong, aren't people going to be wrong in society? That doesn't mean that's who you are.
Yeah, people are going to be wrong, but because people are so
if you
wrong,
are going
like,
down the street and you're pointing out people and being like, ew, get out of here, you tranny, or whatever it is that you're going to say, that's intentionally discriminating. If people get the wrong idea about your politics, like, that's not going to put you up for being hurt financially or through the legislative system. And if you're a teacher, if you're in a position of power and you have 30 students in your class and you're taking time out of your day as a teacher to target this one kid who's saying they have like some obscure pronouns like they or z or whatever, then yeah, you're misusing your time as a teacher. And just talk with that student and be like, hey, really seems like we're not coming to like a understanding. I'm not trying to make you feel bad in class. Like, see me after class. I'm not trying to make you feel bad at all. I'm just sometimes gonna forget this, or I'm just gonna call you your name. Is that fine? There are ways you can go about it as a teacher with empathy without saying like, this is not reality. I'm not calling you Zer. How stupid of you. Like, that's clearly like you're targeting.
Is there
a
a
kid.
middle answer there instead of being like a?
Girl, they just gave you the middle answer, girl. Hey, if I'm having a problem with this shit, just be like motherfucking Craig from goddamn Hag Talk. I'm just gonna call you by your name. How about that? That's the middle ground. They just gave that. But I guess you want to find a middle ground where it's like, if I just believe their reality is not right, then should it be a middle ground? If you want to find a middle ground on that, that's fine, girl. But then again, we're gonna see what's really middle ground for real. What? Girl, look, if y'all want to be bigoted, just go ahead, girl. We would prefer y'all to do that. We would prefer for y'all to just go ahead and say y'all bigoted and that y'all queerphobic or transphobic on the way to bigotry. I would prefer y'all say that, because at least that would be the most realistic and rational.
Total jerk and being really rude as a teacher, or being
the middle answer is I'm just
going
gonna call you your name.
Yeah.
Is that okay? So it helps me remember more. I guarantee you almost everybody's gonna be comfortable with that.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
You're like, fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine, that sounds good. Well, I have maybe one more question for you guys. What does a compassionate, reality-based society look like to you? One that respects both truth and dignity. Why don't you go first and then you finish? Or you can go first, either way.
I just think it's one that has clear definitions and is respectful of each other. Move about our day. Let consenting adults do as they may. Focus on the realities of the situations at hand, whether that be biological and go about our day. It's that simple to me. Like, I think we would be great as a society if we just tone down a lot and just strip things back to clear cut definitions of, yes, a gay man, penis with penis. Like break it down to the bare bones level. Bare bones level, say, hey, actually biological males, you know, you're not swimming against biological women. Like bare bones levels, be fine. And then again, letting like consenting grown adults do as they may. I mean, I truly feel that we would have that world if trans women weren't in, or trans people weren't involved in the sports, and we weren't transing children. I think those are the two most top hot button issues for conservatives, libertarians, like, whatever. Like, I think those are the top two issues that I've seen change over the course of the past few years of the LGBTQ community, in large part why we're seeing so many cases for being against trans all of a sudden popping up in 2022 or 2023, because something's been changing. I think we'd have that society, and that's what I want to strive for. Like, I'm tired of being a gay man that's constantly associated with this community just because of what I do behind closed doors. I'm tired of this community trying to speak on my behalf.
So now we get what's going on. Now we have an understanding of what's going on. Now we see, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you just have to let people talk, and they will tell you exactly what it is that you need to know. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm in the middle of this firefight, so I really can't look at the screen. I know something popped up. I saw something colorful, so I can't look at it right now. But I'm looking at it in a minute. Oh shit, he coming up to me with a damn bomb. He's about to harakiri me.
I'm tired of how this community is viewed, especially in large part by those on the right. But I see it, and I understand it, and I empathize with it, and that there's a lot of gay people that are not liking what they're seeing right now in terms of their own LGBTQ plus community. And I do think if we just let them kids and the women alone, we would be living in an entire different society.
Yeah, I think what you said that really resonated with me was go on about your day. And that's really what I think should be the goal, is go on about your day. I think we should treat everybody the way that we treat a majority of people, where when you get to know somebody and you say, hey, what's your name? Oh, your name is this? Great. That's what I'm going to call you. We don't ask to see people's birth certificates. We don't ask to see their chromosome blood tests. We don't ask to see their genitals. We move about society, and we trust people, and that's how we should be doing with all cases. The only reason why trans people aren't is because there are trans people who are open about being trans, which creates a sense of paranoia and hostility, especially amongst people who feel that that is a moral degradation of what society should look like. Instead, I think that we should be an open and free society, as America claims to be, and we should allow people to move through life as they see best fit, and what does align with most empirical data that shows we will decrease suicides, and we'll make sure that we're prioritizing people's well-being and their needs.
Cool. Well, I think I'll chime in a little bit too, because I chimed in a lot in this conversation, more than maybe I typically do as like a host for these debates. I just really appreciate conversation. And I think so often these kinds of conversations get shut down because people are so afraid of being called a bigot, a homophobic, a transphobic, and people don't feel like they can express, you know, what is really making sense to them and what isn't. And I think definitions matter. And I think it's good for us as a society to be clear what this definition means and what that means. And so I think within this movement, conversation has been shut down so much that we end up having so many people maybe having perspectives but feeling like they can't say anything. And then there's cancel culture, and then we feel like we can't really move forward. But I really appreciate this conversation, a conversation like this, because we can have such a respectful dialogue, find common ground, see where like, oh, hey, I see your point there, I see your point there, and move forward. That's always my goal. So, yeah.
I do appreciate you. Like, this was a great conversation to me. I learned a lot, learned new things. And I'm just grateful to have, again, these types of conversations, because they're rare. All we see is just two people bickering at each other, fighting at each other, not even politically, but even like on TV, like the dumb little reality shows. But the more we do stuff like this, the more people on the left and right can sit down and just have longer format conversations. I think we'd be in a way better place.
Yeah, I think you both made some really good points. I think I'm still not super clear what a woman is. or what a man is based on your perspective. We might have to keep talking after we shut the cameras off, but it's been a while.
No, y'all know what the fuck
yeah.
it is.
Any last words?
Yeah, glad I got to come on here. Thanks to both of you for having me on.
Yeah, great. All right, thanks, guys.
Okay. I'm almost done. I gotta put this person here one last time. Okay, cool, good. I can rest for a minute because I saw something pop up on the screen. I'm like, why is there a certain color? Oh, shout out to the super chat. Shout out to the super chat. What did Deshaun say? Consenting adults, yet they're going to get judged out in public if they consent, if they're gay. Amir did that. Yeah, he talked about Kim. They don't agree with homosexuality. Again, check out my video essay. Like, that's why it's like, I believe that Amir is like a bad faith actor in this situation. The more, and when I say Amir, I'm talking about the public persona. I'm talking about what it is that we see. I don't know Amir privately, so I don't know what his true character is. I can only speak about what it is that I see, what is being presented to me, and what he is sharing through this public persona of Amir Odom. You say you learned a lot. Are you going to share what you learned with your audience? Because we don't see you doing that. Because we know that if you were to do that, there's going to be incredible pushback from you. To you because of that. Matter of fact, hold on one second. What was I about to do? I was about to do something. Damn. Something just threw me off. Fuck, I was about to do something. Oh, yes. I want to go to Ellen Fischer podcast. And I kind of want to go and look at the comments real quick. 1 second. I hear big dipping. Give me 1 second, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Amir. Let's look at the comment section under the video. I'm gonna go to the newest comments. Someone says, and this was 38 minutes ago. Sorry, I don't think it's wrong for any other person to be required to refer to anyone who is obviously falsely believing or living in a born false identity. Let's be honest. We are truly living in an immoral society. Unfortunate, but true. Someday our creator will come back and judge all. And all this dumb drama and pettiness will be called out. And it will be judged for all its intent. Because our creator knows our thoughts and feelings and intentions of our behavior. So ain't nobody hiding from the truth. Someone else says, this guy Mason has the morals of a dangerous misogynist predator. Someone else says, kudos, Amir. I totally love your simple logic and total factual reality. Damn, Miss Mama has been commenting, girl. Someone else says, welcome and loving community, but only if you think like them. Yes. Someone says, this, as most of Ellen's content does, is pulling me toward a middle ground view of why I think the way I do, and it's really intriguing me because, one, I was somewhat running off the assumption that men in the bathroom, whether they identify that or not, equals predators. I do think even in bathrooms merged, we need an authority, be it a police or otherwise, nearby to remove anyone being creepy, period, male or female, without bias, which is inherently sexist to me and goes against my views of defending men as possible and destigmatizing them. Second, I personally do want a culture in America that normalizes nudity like other places do and desexualized it. I think it would help XXX addictions and deepen connections between people, especially romantically, because then it becomes less about I want to claim you and see what you look like under there just to say I did, or because our culture has us cover up. And it becomes more about seeing a person deeply for who they are and falling in love with that instead. Which made me realize I have no issue joining bathrooms because my fears around it are subjective and based in societal conditioning. I also disagree, this third one, I also disagree with the men are more powerful than us and thus And thus, us fearing them is reasonable because we are more likely to be hurt by them. I was conditioned to go with this, yes. But if I really think about it, I've been assaulted and harmed more by women my entire life. Physically and mentally, stacks on stacks. I've only met about 3 men who really hurt me emotionally or inappropriately in my life, including my father and my only one boy, a child when I was also one, was inappropriate with me. So going off my personal experience, this would be completely invalid for me. And if we are living in the world that is the goal, where men are embodying healthy masculine roles again and not toxic masculine roles, I'd feel safer with men around to protect me from how terrible other women can be. But in an ideal world, women would treat each other better. Maybe letting go of all this unnecessary fear and sexism would help us as our side of the species. And fourth, at the end of the day, trans women are women and vice versa, though it's still absolutely delusional and inherently deeply sexist and homophobic concept. I am tired of the arguing against biology. Biology and science are not societal constructs, and I've seen both, red and blue, try to pretend that they are in favor of the, plus or gay pride community, and I do not like that. I also don't like either side trying to tamper with and change science and making up long stretches with short-term inconsistent studies that convince them or versus our centuries of knowledge. Also knowing how their studies always fall apart after prolonged testing, but they ignore that. Huge ick. Someone says nobody cares about the LGBTQ, just bullies. Gay men trashing trans people is crazy work. So we got a few people that got some brains in here a little bit. Someone says, I think the thing to take away from this is that these two people debating are both obviously kind, decent human beings with different ways of viewing what's right for the general public. Can we stop hating people for their political beliefs for the love of God? I would love for that to happen. I honestly feel as though though the white binary and white trans people ruined the trans community. When I transitioned, it was a man, woman, and trans men. Now it's becoming a bit too much. The more I watch, the more exhausting Mason is, and I'm trans. Trans women are biologically male and trans men are biologically female. Why is that hard to say? See, and these are the people that are saying that they want to have these conversations, and I hope they do, because I'm the individual that also wants to have these conversations. And again, we have to speak about whether there is objective harm happening. And if you cannot bring up the objective harm, and you don't have anything to back that up objectively, then you need to explore your own reason of thinking. And I just want to say this before we end up leaving, because I got some calls I got to make, and then I got to jump on getting this project that I have to do done by tonight. In reference to the whole situation with sports and trans people shouldn't be in sports. Well, maybe I should suggest a place that trans people, cisgendered people, gay, straight, whatever the case, if you want to end up finding some place or something, I'm trying to upload these pictures. I should have done it earlier, but I was in that firefight. Here's something that you can do. Okay? And I think that it would be good because it gives everybody a fair chance and a fair ground to get with each other and to fight and all that other type of stuff. It didn't save it. Oh, it's over here in my pictures. I'm sorry. Hold on. I had a screenshot of it. 1 second. You can do something known as intergender wrestling. See, that's what happens when you do your research and you actually study to show thyself approved. You realize that there are ways around this. There are places that have intergender wrestling where they have biological females fighting against biological males. And some of y'all may say, well, Bubs, in those spaces, safety is still an issue, right? Safety is still key, right? You have to make sure you protect your performers. Okay, no shade. For those that want to do it in a safe space, there are places that do that. But again, that's not the only space available. There is a wrestler that I mentioned before whose name is Mickie James. Now, there are some other pictures that I can show you about Mickie James, but if you were to type in Mickie James wrestling, I'm sorry, not Mickie James, I'm sorry, Mickie Knuckles, excuse me, Mickie Knuckles. Her name is Mickie Knuckles, my apology. If you type in Mickie Knuckles wrestling, she wrestles males, females, men, and women. And I'm talking about, again, being thrown and slammed through tables, wrapped in barbed wire. I'm talking about being smashed in the head with a group, okay, of fluorescent light bulbs. I'm talking about somebody who has been DDT'd through car windshields. I'm talking about somebody that knows that, baby, because this is the art of wrestling and this is extreme wrestling on some ECW type stuff, I'm going to give the fans what they want. And the fact that I am a female means I'm going to kick this motherfucker ass even more. And she has. So again, there are spaces. When they talk about men fighting women and weaker sex and all that type of stuff, there are places where that can indeed be tested. And Mickie Knuckles, again, is one of those individuals who have been able to do that. So again, there is gray areas, but there is a particular party that does not want to play along and want to play right. Look at how they're operating right now in Congress. Look at what they're doing right now. They want it their way or the highway. The same things that they are claiming that queer people and black people and the woke people have done for the longest time. They're the ones doing that and doing that expeditiously. So again, if we're going to play this game, if we're going to have these conversations, we need to have these conversations for real. And a lot of y'all are not ready to do that. And that is something that y'all have to deal with. So, just wanted to come through with that to give y'all some content for this weekend, because I don't think I'm going to be doing anything else. I have to work on this other project and get this done by tonight or at least Saturday morning. But let me go ahead and change my music so we can be up on out of here. Anyway, I thank y'all so much for joining me for this live. I really appreciate it. Yes, I'm glad that we took the time out to continue to watch Amir's content and listen to where he comes from. And yes, to T for T's point, yeah, kind but harmful. Like, I'm just gonna let you know that I'm gonna punch you in the chest, okay? And I'm sorry about it, but I just have to. You ready? You ready? Prepare? You ready? That's kind of what it's giving. So, again, Amir, you have the opportunity to learn from this. If you continue to let these people use you as a voice piece, it's probably going to be a part 2 on you, and it's probably going to be your fall from grace, because again, people in positions of power like you or positions of influence and reach like you, whether you want to or not, you have a responsibility. And there's a lot of things that you are definitely ignorant on, that you do not study to show thyself approved on. So if you really want to be objective and rational, there's levels to this. And what I'm saying is that you can come on up a little bit higher. But if you do, you might lose PragerU. You might lose Summit Ministries. You might lose the support of a lot of your fan base. But since we're talking about morals and values, we need to see where you stand, because you can't end up making videos for your viewers to watch and transmute in their own way without offering context and nuance, and to challenge them on that. Because if my supporters was doing some shit like that, I would definitely challenge them on that. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to always be on the side of truth. As harmful as that can be, as scary as that can be, as dangerous as that can be, I have no choice but to do it, because the truth is going to be Anyway. So again, thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure y'all hit that like button because it helps the channel to grow on the algorithms. We are over 1,150 subscribers on the road to whatever the hell's next, okay? If you like the vibe over here on BubzDaGawd and you want to contribute to that subscriber growth, the short stack growth, you can definitely hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my content, whether it be edited or live. If there's anything that I've said in my commentary that you agree with, disagree with, you want to use it on your own platform, if you just want to read me the fuck down, I don't give a damn. You can use this live or any of my content on my platform for your rebuttal or whatever it is you have to share. All I ask is that in the midst of that, make sure you tag BubzDaGawd so that I know that it's real. And if you feel compelled, you can definitely hit that Cash App, okay? $, Conscious TV, CONSCIOUZ TV, okay? Because again, I gotta get my Cash App together, and I don't think I'm gonna get it together anytime soon. So if you want to support me, okay, to where I can get my money directly, no shame, you can go ahead and hit that Cash App, Conscious TV, and just make sure you put in the note, this is for BubzDaGawd, okay? Shout out to T for T in the building. Shout out to Queen Stevie for being in the building. Shout out to King Deshaun for being in the building and for the super chats pimping. Shout out to DJ The Truth TV. Shout out to the Black Anarchist Podcast in the building. Make sure y'all go over there and check them out and also purchase their most recent book. Where was it at? Whose life is it? I'm about to say, whose life is it anyway? Whose life is it? The Moral Debt for Life Enslavement, which I definitely need to get into. And make sure y'all be on the lookout this month for chapter 2 of Blame It on the Dress, which is definitely coming out. Shout out to Quinn. Shout out to you being in the building. Shout out to, I already think I said Queen Stevie. And then shout out to, of course, make sure y'all check out Faith is the Substance. I recently did an interview with her, sit down with her. It was very fun. Make sure y'all go run that video up. Make sure y'all go run her numbers up and get her to 1,000, okay? And support her dope ass content creator. And I will be talking to all of y'all when I will be talking to y'all. So with that being said, y'all make sure to enjoy the rest of y'all evening, and I holla. Peace.
I can be anything I choose in this round. We are a sound vibration too deep to tell.